Old men, they say, old man, what is it like to be so old? I am the oldest man in the village, 92 years. And what is it like to be so old? Well, I remember things. Now I sit in the sun in front of the house because the wind is less there. Like an old weather vane. And they ask me what it is like to be so old now. Things are like, maybe like the wind. But once I went to the army. I had a sword and a medal for shooting. I was very young. Every man in my regiment was to have a mustache, big tall men with mustaches, all marching together. But I was too young to grow one. The lieutenant told me that I wasn't trying hard enough. Every man in my group must have a mustache, so the ladies' heads will turn when we march by. And then I came home when the marching was done. And on a farm next to the one I worked, I met a woman. And one day I rented a carriage and drove up to her farmer's house and asked her to come with me as my wife. It was the first time she rode in a carriage. And years later, she told me that she had been afraid that day. And as we rode down the path, she wanted to jump out, and ran away in the field. We had 6 children and never enough food for all of them. But our house was full. They asked me how it was then. It was poverty. at the end of a long day, you come home and you have potatoes with a bit of salt, and you sit and rest for a while. And then it was time to wait for another day. They asked me how it was then. Like always, I would like to tell them, things don't change. And people are people. It was the same. Op zo'n kerkhof in de nacht zag men een meisje knielen en vlakjes sneeuw, zo rein en zacht, over daar het reek nedervielen. So many faces, so many men, gone now in the village. I am the only one who remembers them. The faces have all changed. Everything has changed. In the war, one cold day, the enemy took men from the village. They took this one and that one, like you might choose potatoes from a bin. 17 men, and lined them up. Then we stood and watched, not a sound until the shots. And no one moved until the body jumped and fell. And the blood froze on everything. The street, the wagon, my hands were raw from the water and the cold. The water was so cold that day. My father sailed a boat. Just a little boat from town to town, carrying freight. And he drank, my father. He sailed a little boat and he drank gin. And sometimes he'd be so drunk that he'd lay back on the deck of the little boat and watch the sky and the sails. He used to tell me that there were so many faces in the clouds. He drank and looked at the sky, and my brothers had to go out and beg for bread. We had nothing. And when our stomachs were empty and there was nothing in the house, Mother would tell us to drink water. We always had enough of that. We had water to drink. I worked every day, even when I was a boy. All the farmers came to hire me. They got a good day's work out of me. But the fields were never mine. I was always working another man's land. I worked every day. Only on Sunday could I sit. So many words to listen to, and music. I wore my suit and a good hat. Every Sunday we went, twice always, twice to church. We read scriptures after every meal. We blessed every potato and committed it to the use of God. Think about dying. That's what it says on the gate, that holds in the dead. But what else does a man think? And when they come to lay me out and carry me around the grave 3 times before I go into the ground, 3 times around and around, and then they will pray, and I will pray. It is a journey. How is it, they ask? Old man? How is it? It is a man's journey.
This program was made possible by a grant from the Rockefeller Foundation to WGBH Boston for a project to explore television as an artistic medium.